Good evening, good evening, good evening. Welcome to the Real Money Coach Show, our live edition of the Real Money Coach here on Facebook, YouTube, LinkedIn. And as Dante just prompted you, y'all come on in right now, right? Come on in and join the show. Put in the chat where you're watching from, what city, what state, what country, wherever you happen to be. Come on and put it in and join the conversation tonight. As you know, every week and each and every week, she hardly ever miss is my co-host Michelle Mitchell. She'll be joining us in just a second. I'm super excited about our guest tonight. And I know I say that, I say that probably every week. I probably use that same terminology, but it's true because you know what happens is that God keeps sending these wonderful guests to us all the time. And we have such wonderful shows, educational. Brad Hudson, thank you, in Belmont, North Carolina, right up the road. Brad is in the house, and I don't know if Brad is at work or at home, but I hope that his lovely wife is watching as well, Melissa. And we are just happy to be on the air. I see some more people there, but y'all not telling me where you're from, where you're at. Put that in the chat for us. Man, I got a wonderful, busy week ahead. Tomorrow, I will be presenting to the Charlotte's Regional Visitors Authority. And so, that will be tomorrow. We have about 175 business owners that will be there. And so we're looking forward to that presentation. And as you guys know, always on Thursday evening, I'm part of the Generational Wealth Alliance with Dr. George Frazier. Thursday mornings, I'm with Michael V. Roberts for Roberts Innovation Group. And so I just have a busy but great week. I get the chance to meet some wonderful people. And then, I may be going to this little conference in Baltimore called the State of the Black World. It's kind of interesting. So we'll talk about that a little bit. Hello, Alice Martin. I'm glad you're here. I'm glad you're here tonight. Man, I'm telling you, they've made some new features, man, and I'm loving what I'm seeing already where people are putting stuff in the comments. Our guest tonight, Ari Squires, has put a comment there, said you can support her by sending stars. All right. So look at that. I love that. So while we are chatting, let's bring on our special co-host every week, Miss Michelle Mitchell. Hey, Michelle, how you doing?
I'm good, Tony. How are you tonight?
Hey, now listen, this applause that you're getting,
I know, right?
More deserved than ever, right? Because you have a big announcement that you're going to share with the listening audience. Timothy Day, thank you for being here. Timothy and Cynthia Day in Durham, North Carolina. Kimberly McGuinn, thank you for being here as well. Michelle, yes. You have an announcement.
I do. Yes.
So
only my family knows so far. So
this is the public announcement.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah. So you're saying only your family knows, your clients don't know. What about your team?
Nope, they don't know yet.
They better dial in and find out. They better dial
right?
in. You want to tell them to come on in before you make this announcement? Or are you ready?
I'm ready.
Tell us what's going on.
All right. So I have been nominated for the top 50 women in accounting.
Look at top 50 women in accounting. Now, Michelle, congratulations, well deserved. And the thing that's so remarkable about this is that I know that there is a ton of women in the accounting profession, right?
Yes.
I mean, from owning their own firms to being CPAs to being all different disciplines within accounting. And as you know, I have affinity for accountants because we happen to go to school together. And
Yep.
You, Lisa, and I happened to sit at graduation together, earning that diploma, right?
Yeah.
That accounting degree. And so we're so proud of you. You may be the only one of us that's still like heavy duty into accounting, right? I use my accounting skills, but
Yes.
I wouldn't say that I'm like heavy duty. But you have the
So
bookkeeping, and
so here it is. I'm the owner of an accounting firm.
right.
I don't do accounting anymore.
Well, I didn't mean literally, but you
Right.
are the CEO. You are the person who owns the firm,
Yep.
um, and so that's just remarkable. And again, congratulations. I mean
Thank you.
that's got to feel good.
It feels really good. And just to be nominated, I'm like, who nominated me?
Wow.
I don't even know who nominated me.
Well, that's awesome. You
Yeah.
know, a client, somebody had nominated you,
Somebody. Hmm.
and someone the committee felt worthy that you would be, recognized as nominated in the top 50
Yeah,
women in accounting.
I know. It's amazing.
It is amazing.
I love
It is amazing. It's so interesting. I was on a website of a CPA firm today,
it. Mhm.
and I saw the NABA logo. And it just brought back those memories for when
Memories.
we
Yeah.
were in college,
Hmm.
and we had NABA. I mean, NABA
Yeah,
was
we did.
our thing, right? I
It
mean,
was.
you,
Hmm.
me, Lisa, some of the other people.
Yeah.
You remember Kenyatta
Yep.
and
Kenyatta.
Kevin
Yeah.
and just a bunch of people. We were
Hmm.
all part of the group, and got the chance to travel with NABA and go to different parts of the country, and
Hmm.
it was an awesome experience.
Yeah, it was. And
So
and
congratulations again.
NABA, thank you. NABA made a big impact on me about what the possibilities could be for a career in accounting because I didn't want to be a CPA and I knew
Right.
that. So I'm thankful for the experience I had as a student with NABA.
That's awesome. That's
Yeah.
awesome. All right, Michelle. I mean, man, that's pretty cool. That's pretty cool.
It is.
So I can't wait to tell Lisa. She's going to be so excited for you. You know what you want to do, Michelle?
What?
You want to come down to Charlotte and celebrate next week.
I should come to Charlotte,
Yeah,
right?
Charlotte and celebrate next week.
Y'all,
You
who want to have lunch with me in Charlotte?
ah, you know what, Michelle? Honestly, this is one of the things I did think about. Since we have so many viewers here um, in Charlotte
Hmm.
that know you from
Yep,
the show, I was like, we ought to have a meet and greet
we
somewhere
should.
where the people who have been watching and kind of got to know you could come and meet you in person while you're here.
I would love it.
Let's plan it. Let's plan it. If y'all think that would be a good idea, put it in the chat. Let us know.
Put it in chat.
And
Are you gonna show up? Tell me
who gonna come?
who
Who
coming.
gonna show up to meet Michelle for a meet and greet? We just have to figure out where we're gonna do it. You have to,
Yeah.
figure out a location and
I tell you, I love you, man.
look at your husband.
I love these two nerds.
man, man, I can't wait to get out on the golf course with my boy. I got
Yeah.
tee times all set up. We you can make it. And Tony said y'all can make it to Charlotte. So
Right, we can make it right.
y'all can make
Right.
it. Y'all can make it. So looking forward to it. Alice Martin says a fantastic idea. A
Yay,
fantastic
Alice.
idea. And so yeah, we're looking forward to that. We're gonna do that. We're gonna do a meet and greet.
Okay.
We just gonna figure out what day we're gonna do it. Because we got tea times all day Friday. We'll figure it out.
I, I
We'll
know.
figure it out.
All this golfing.
Yeah, we'll figure it out. We'll figure it out.
Okay.
Maybe y'all have a meet and greet without me. There you go.
You might have a meet. That's what I was thinking, a meet and greet without you.
Oh, you were? Oh, okay. I didn't know that
That's
part.
why I
All
said,
right.
who want to have lunch with me? Because
Cool.
you going to be golfing.
I'm gonna be golfing. So listen, Michelle, I want to just address one thing really quick before we
Mhm.
bring on our guest. And we talked a lot about the whole banking thing.
Mhm.
um, last week, and we talked about Silicon Valley Bank and it's going
Mhm.
under, and I don't know if anyone of our viewers watches Fox News and some of the conservative things, but I want to put something. I want to dispel something real quick. Some of the conservatives on Fox News have indicated that one of the problems with Silicon Valley Bank. Have you heard this?
I think I have heard what
That
you're about to.
one of the problems is that they gave $74 million to the Black Lives Matters movement,
Yes.
and that was a problem on their balance sheet, is what they're inferring. The
Yeah.
reality is, if you look at some of the things that they gave to, there were not direct gifts or even really direct connections to some of the organizations that they gave to the Black Lives Matter movement. But I
Mhm.
think, it's one of those things where, you know, political, conservative, liberal, Democrat, all that, people tend to put their twist on things the way they see it, the way they
Yeah.
want it to be, and how, um, it gives them the advantage. And maybe it's a talking point since,
Mhm.
the only other thing they're talking about on the news right now is the fact that Trump is going to be arrested. I don't know,
Right.
whatever, right?
Yeah, whatever.
So, but I did want to just dispel that rumor out there, is that they did not give to the Black Lives Matter
True.
movement. They gave to some things that were COVID relief. They gave to some things that were equity and inclusion type of things, but
Mhm.
not anything that was directly related or support the Black Lives Matter movement. Now, it wouldn't be nothing wrong with it if they did, by the way.
Mhm.
Let me just say that. But you can't blame their collapse on the fact that they gave to Black Lives Matter.
True.
And in fact, it's not even true.
That's
So
true. Yeah.
so I just wanted to throw that out there just so that everybody's clear on it in case you do hear about that. So I don't know what else is going on in the financial news world.
I've been
I
busy this week, so
I've
I
been
don't know.
busy too. I haven't I haven't seen anything really. Like I said, the only thing that I've been seeing that's been dominating the news has been
Did the
the
Fed raise interest rates today, or they? I don't. Yeah,
let's take a look. It,
yeah,
it
I've been.
was expected. I don't know if it would be today or tomorrow. I think normally they meet on Tuesday,
Yeah.
uh, and then they raise interest rates.
So they met today.
Between yeah, I think that they probably have made a decision, but what
Mhm.
normally happens is they'll hold a press conference tomorrow. Normally, if they do it like they've typically done it, it is scheduled to be press
Really?
conference by Jerome Powell 2:30 tomorrow, and so
Okay.
we'll see which way interest rates go.
Yeah.
Um, but it's a great time. Here's the thing: all the realtors that I talk to, all the mortgage people I talk to, says don't allow the interest rates stop you from getting property now,
Right.
because the prices are down because the
Yeah.
interest rates are up, and
Mhm.
then you get into the house when interest rates go down, you could always refinance, get into a lower interest rate,
That's
and
true.
all those type of things. So, I think sometimes we got to watch what's going on, but we don't want to just like overreact. And
Right.
if you get a good deal, get yourself a crib, right? Get
Right.
yourself a new crib. It's okay. It's okay, because the interest rates where they are now. I mean, years ago, I mean, this would have been
I know.
considered low,
Yeah. When
right?
I bought my first house, when we bought our first house, the interest rates were about 8%.
Yeah, I was thinking that too. I was
Yeah.
thinking when we bought our first house, it was probably somewhere around 8% or something like that. So
Mhm.
yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
Well, Michelle, let me tell you something. Let me tell you about this guest we have on tonight. I can't wait to really kind of unpack. When I had her for the radio interview, one of the things that came out is that she's a little bit old school, right? A little bit
Mhm.
old school, a little bit new school, a little old school like me and you, right? We probably
Right.
all around the same age. But let me just read this. I just read this. This is just the first line out of an article that was done on her on Sheen magazine, right? And this is like a week ago.
Oh,
And when you listen to this, it tells you everything you need to know about what we're in store tonight. Okay.
okay.
So now, I used to say this when we were in college. You may not remember this, but I used to say it's not where you from. It's not even where you at. It's about where you're
Where you
going.
going? Right.
Right.
Yeah. Yeah.
Now,
I can
now,
imagine you were saying that back in college.
I did say that. And part of that is because I was from this little bitty village.
Right.
It's like, no, it ain't where you
It's the
from.
size of a peanut.
The size of a peanut, right? One stoplight, the whole town.
Right.
And so you gotta just wait for the tractors to go by and all that. Y'all didn't know I was from the country, but I'm from the country.
You from the country, y'all.
I'm from the country, straight up from the country. I don't know how I ended up like I am, but
No.
straight from the country. There was 2 black people in my graduating class, y'all, and so that was the environment that I went to school in. But anyway, that was my saying. And this article starts out this way: there's a popular saying, "It's not where you start, but where you finish." If there's anyone who let's see, what is it? If there's anyone who lives this phrase out, it is Ari Squires, CEO, and I know you're gonna like the name of her company, Profit Attraction Academy.
Oh, I love it.
I love that.
Yes.
The energetic business mogul, brand manager, author, international speaker, has worked with multi-million-dollar companies and influencers. However, her path to success started in the jail cell.
Oh, wow.
Yeah,
Interesting.
that
Okay,
that
come on,
that
Ari.
that's what we got tonight. That's what we're
Okay.
gonna hear from tonight. We're gonna keep it 100.
Right.
And Tony say he really is from the country. Uh, we gonna keep it 100 tonight. I'm the most radical country boy you ever seen, though, right?
Right.
I was radical back in our college
Yes.
days. But
Radical.
let me tell you something. She is a graduate alumni of Howard University
Awesome.
in DC. She's a mom. She's an entrepreneur. She's a author. She's just got a whole lot going on, and she is coming on the stage. Our Ari Squires, come on the stage.
Hello, hello. Can you guys hear me?
Hey. Listen to that.
Hello. What an introduction. Thank you. And real fast, can I just congratulate Michelle and just let everybody know that is a great representation of a high value brand. So congratulations. When your name is being in rooms that you haven't stepped in, and people are putting your name in hats. That's a high value brand. So congratulations.
Thank you
Well,
so much.
it's interesting you say that because one of our friends, acquaintances, business associates, Tony, was Tony Taylor Harris, right?
Harris. Mhm.
Harris.
Yeah.
She's the queen of networking,
She
and her definition of going viral is when your name starts to get mentioned in rooms that you're not in.
Yes.
Mhm.
It ain't the number of likes. It ain't the number of all of this on Facebook and YouTube. But when they start talking about, like we're doing her tonight, right? Here's a
Right.
great example, right? When they start talking about you in rooms that you're not in, then that's going viral.
That's going viral.
Mama said it like this: if you ain't been talked about, you ain't been thought about, right?
That is true. That is true.
So true.
Yeah, that's awesome. So, Ari, tell us a little bit about yourself. I mean, I just can't wait for you to unpack. I want you to unpack your background, your story, and then I want you to just drop some nuggets on us tonight about branding and your book that's out, your 11th book, I believe it is. And so,
Wow.
drop some knowledge on us, girl.
Thank you. Gosh, where do I begin? Where should I begin? Where would you like for me to begin?
Well, let's begin. Okay, because I understand you grew up in California, right? Was it Sacramento?
I did.
Sacramento,
Sacramento, California.
and then you found your way to I think it was Fredericksburg, Virginia. So
Yep.
let's
So I'll
start
start
Let's
there.
start with the college
I'll
experience.
unpack that, right?
Okay, there we
Because
go.
it's a lot, right? So, so let's just talk about me as a young aspiring entrepreneur who was using, entrepreneurial talents of, figuring out products, getting customers, building, a brand. However, I was just doing it illegally. I was, in the streets, hanging around the wrong crowds of like-minded individuals because I was very enticed by the individuals that I was around. A lot of gangbangers, a lot of hustlers, a lot of people who were just really carving their way. And I think that was what intrigued me, that they were creating their own reality, but in a different way. Even though I personally was raised, not born, but I was raised in the suburbs by a very successful single mom, child psychologist. She worked her behind off to buy her home, live her dream life and to raise us right. I was a straight A student, graduated at the top of my class. However, like I said, the streets were just so interesting to me. I was so intrigued by it. But because of that, I made a lot of wrong decisions, which got me in trouble. And I know anybody watching, I'm sure you guys too, we've all made some bad decisions. And so those decisions landed me in and out of jail. Because I was just, hanging with the wrong people. But when I was in jail the last time, I had this moment, as you read in the article, the Sheen article, where I just had this moment where it was time for me to make some changes, because while I was in jail, a lot of the women just came to me. I guess they saw my light, they saw my gift that I didn't see at the time. And I was, empowering them to not come back, and to, giving them strategies on how to change their lives, and, telling them what to do. And I realized, wait a minute, maybe I should take my own advice. And so I knew that at that moment that I didn't know what I was going to do. I just knew that I wanted to be an inspiration to other young girls. I didn't know what that looked like at the time. I was only 20. I didn't know what that looked like at the time, but I knew that I wanted my life to be an inspiration. And so what's so crazy is, coming full circle today, I'll share a lot of that in between, is that now every single day I get an email, an inbox message, a text message, something where someone, a woman, a black girl, even black men are telling me that I've inspired them in some way. Every single, not a day goes by that I don't receive a message that my assistant is not sending me something from an email of someone just saying how I've been able to, inspire them or empower them. So that is crazy to me, to see that happen. But I understand it, because my mom always told me that I can do anything I put my mind to. And that was one of those things that just stuck with me. So in all of that, while I was, when I got out, my mom, she said, I can't save you no more. I can't. This is it. It's a wrap. I keep saving you. I gotta let you go and just figure it out. And I know that had to be the most difficult thing she's ever had to do, because I have 2 children. I couldn't imagine having to just not be there for my child. But it was the best thing she ever did for me, because I did have to find my way. I did have to figure it out. So I was homeless. I was sleeping in cars. I didn't have a car myself. I was sleeping in my friends' cars, on their couches. It was horrible. But I learned a lot about myself during that time. I learned that this is not the life that I wanted. That was not the life that I wanted. And I ended up meeting a very amazing man, who is now my husband. We just celebrated 20 years of marriage on March 16th. And he saw a gift as well. And he's like, what are you doing? Why are you doing all of this dumb stuff? Like, you're so smart. You're so intelligent. What do you want to do? And I was like, I really want to go to school and major in television and film production. He was like, then why aren't you doing that? Why? Right. And so I introduced him to my mom. My mom was like, oh my God, what happened? She done found a good man. Like, what? He cuts coupons, he's smart, he's handsome, and he's never been to jail. He was just a complete opposite of every other person that she met that I had brought home. She was like, what? Okay, but you guys are moving. Okay, I'll pay for, 6 months. Like, she was on board because she saw that I had someone in my life that believed in me and was going to be there for me. So we moved. We packed our stuff, drove from Sacramento, California to Fredericksburg, Virginia, because my husband's a DJ and he worked in Richmond, Virginia. And I went to Howard. So that was like that midway point. Sure. And I went to Howard and I changed my life. I changed my circle. I released what I released my chains. You know, a lot of that was my own limitations, my own thoughts, my habits, the decisions, people. I released everybody. And I had to release those chains in order to really tap into my personal power. And in that, and all of that, and going to Howard and that life-changing experience, and just the teachers being so supportive. And then me and my husband got married while I was in college. And my daughter wanted to dance. And living in Fredericksburg, Virginia at that time was very, you talk about being from the country. I'm a city girl. I'm from Sacramento. I grew up around, you know, city. Let me just say that. And so it was very different, but it was exactly what I needed. But for my daughter, there was no culture. There was nothing, there was no hip hop dance classes. It was, you know, dance schools that had, they said it was hip hop, but it was really jazz over hip hop music. And I know hip hop, right? Especially with my husband being a DJ. So I was like, oh no. So me just being an entrepreneur and a trailblazer, I created my own classes. Now I can't dance. I'm still trying to learn how to two-step. I can't even line dance. Like I'm embarrassed when songs come on and I'm trying to learn the line dances still. But I saw a need in my community. I saw that no one was really there was nothing for the Black kids in the community to go to where they can feel good about themselves. And so I hired some kids to come and teach, and it grew very, very, very fast. I mean, extremely fast. And I talk about it in my book, how I partnered with other high value brands in my community to make that, to make this a success, right? Because I didn't know anyone. Literally, we didn't know anyone. We knew one person. And so I created this dance school, very successful. Within 18 months, I had my own building. It was multiple six-figure business. I had a staff of over 12 people, just using the skills that I had all along that I was using in the wrong way. Taking my gifts of, you know, networking and partnerships and building alliances and marketing and branding and all of that stuff. Always House to Dance and Performing Arts School just became this huge success in the community for 10 years. And so, and during that time, I would say the last 2 years, the moms were always asking me for like advice on business, right? Because they saw this successful Black woman, their kids. Oh, I love those kids. I'm still mentoring a lot of them today. And some of them have kids or graduate from college. It's just crazy because I closed it in 2014, I believe. But during that time, that last 2 years, I was getting burned out because dance wasn't my passion. Business, you know, but community is, but not dance. And so I just started business coaching. I started teaching people how to create successful businesses like I did, and closed the dance school, dropped all that overhead, and this new journey, which now brought me to brand management and writing books and doing masterminds and working with celebrities and multi-millionaire companies, and just having a great time with being part of the change, the financial change that I want to see in this world. And that's amazing to me because that's what I know my purpose is, to help us as Black families create wealth. And you were talking about real estate. We're closing on our home. This is the third home we purchased this Friday. And it's just important that not only do I teach people how to make the money, but it's important that they know what to do with that money as well. And I know Tony and Michelle, you guys are like the experts on that. So that's my story in a nutshell. And I hope that was
that was awesome. Thank you.
That was awesome.
Thank you for sharing that. Now I want to go back and pick at a little bit of it though. Okay. and part of it is I just want you to really just talk from your heart, because I know you talked about, you know, the chains, and I keep in my mind, like I keep thinking about Juanita Barnum, break every chain, or you know, we hear people, you know, singing, you know, break every chain and those type of things. But your first book, I believe, if I'm correct, I'm not sure if it was first, but it was
first.
Release the Chains, A Woman's Roadmap for Finding Strength to Reclaim Her Destiny. I want you to speak to the hearts of this is Women History Month, right? So I want you to speak to the heart of women who may be watching this, maybe watching this replay, that feel like that they have these chains on them, right? It could be he could have a name, right? It could be a situation, it could be their finances, it could be a number of different things. But speak to the heart of them, and what would you tell that woman, especially? And I know it applies to guys too, but I want you to
Yeah.
speak to the women particularly tonight.
Yeah,
What would you
absolutely. And
tell
I
them?
would love to speak to the women and the men if I could, because I
Yeah,
think we're not speaking to the men enough.
Mhm.
Men to have changed. This is
Yeah.
really silent. It's silent, which I think are the
Mm,
worst. I think
yeah,
it's the worst because it's pent up, and it comes out in other ways that are really hindering our Black men in this society. But speaking to everybody, I think it's important that we identify those chains, right? It's kind of like a 12-step
mm,
program when you're alcoholic or you're on drugs, and you have to first know and take responsibility that you made some wrong decisions, right? Because I'm one of those people where, I know everybody may not agree, but I feel like everything that's happened to us up until this point, we are responsible outside of, our creators, outside of God, right?
right.
We're responsible. So we have to take responsibility, number one. And when you take responsibility, you open yourself up to realizing and identifying what those chains are, what those strongholds are, what those limiters are. And it's usually some kind of story that we've been told, some story we keep telling ourselves.
Mhm.
I know a lot of people grew up in dream killer homes, including myself. My mom never wanted me to be an entrepreneur because at that time, she didn't know an entrepreneur. you
Well,
know,
that's we grew up,
Exactly.
especially okay. So we're and I've been to Sacramento, a couple times, and I think Sacramento is kind of a blue collar town,
it
seems
is.
to me,
Yep.
right?
It
And
well
so,
depends where you are.
and so Michelle and I grew up in blue collar towns,
Yep.
right?
We did.
And the thing when we grew up was go to school, right?
Yeah.
And it evolved a little bit from go to school, get your high school diploma, and then get you a good job
Get
in the
you a job.
factory, probably in the auto industry, maybe Whirlpool, Michelle, right,
Yeah.
or
Mhm.
something like that.
Yeah. Mhm.
And then it evolved to go to college, but it was still get yourself a good job
Mhm.
Yeah.
because we didn't know entrepreneurs. We didn't have them. I don't remember an entrepreneur in my family, right? That I mean, I'm sure there was one somewhere, right?
I knew
But
one.
you knew
Oh,
one. So
right.
we
Yeah,
just
I was
didn't have
actually
a
lucky to have some actually. Now that I think about it and really like hone in on this, I actually was lucky to have some entrepreneurs in my family, but they lived in Wisconsin and Mississippi.
Mhm.
But I just
okay.
kind of remember, and then
Mhm.
my great let's see, great grandfather and grandmother, mainly my grandfather, they owned a farm, and they had, from what I hear, the best molasses in all of Pontotoc, Mississippi. So, and then my father, he was a pimp. That's an entrepreneur. We said we gonna keep it real, right?
We gonna keep it real. We gonna keep it real.
As my husband would say, he's a hustler.
He's a hustler,
Keep it
right? Yeah.
hustling.
Well, that's pretty awesome. So,
Yeah.
so thank you for that, and thank you for including us
Absolutely.
fellas in it, because you're right. I mean, so often guys just kind of hide it and tuck it away, and then it manifests itself in the wrong ways.
Mhm.
And so, but I love that. I love that. So now, tell us a little bit about the new work that you're doing, the new book, and a little bit about that.
Yeah. So, where do I start? Well, I know that one thing that I teach a lot and really help with my clients when they come to me, when they hire me as their brand manager, is the main thing is what we're doing is I'm not just coaching people where I'm just kind of telling you what to do and then you go and do it. I did that. I didn't enjoy it. I found that the clients my clients who had the best success were those that I was able to create custom plans with and work with as a partner, where we're meeting bi-weekly. My team is their team, my finance team is their finance team, my marketing team is their marketing team, my content writers, so that way they had everything in-house and it was all in alignment, right? Mm-hmm. And so with that, the main thing that we're working on is increasing their brand equity. Because just like with Michelle, she obviously has a lot of brand equity, which is brand value, which is, some people's value when you're starting out is real low. But as you work in your business and you're intentional about the decisions that you make and the strategies that you build and the relationships that you build, you begin to build equity, which is value, and you become this high value brand. And now you can charge premium prices for your services. Like Michelle was saying before we started rolling, just like myself, we have businesses, we own the companies, but we don't necessarily have to be hands-on in the company.
Right.
But you have to be a high value brand in order to do that. And it takes some building. And so in my book, Become a High Value Brand, I give people a method, a 7-step method on how to, creatively build the equity in their brand and then how to leverage it. And so that's what I'm doing now. And it's pretty, I truly love it because I realized that's what people needed.
Wow. I love that. What's the name of your book? What's the name of your book?
Become a High Value Brand.
Okay.
Now, let me ask you this. How do you prefer people to get your book? Do you want them to go to Amazon? You want them to go to your website?
Oh, you know something about that, Toby Jackson.
Yeah,
I don't sell my books I don't sell many of my books on Amazon.
Listen,
I like to keep all my money.
that little bitty check that comes from Amazon, whatever, right? So, and that's what happened to me, right? So the day my book was released, it was #1 release on Amazon, and that's like, why don't we sell that on our website? And so that's what we do. So that's what you would prefer people to do.
Yeah, I have the website there under my name, highvaluebrand.biz. They can purchase it there.
Highvaluebrand.biz. There it is. So so you talked about that little $8 on Amazon.
That's how I feel.
That's how I feel too. So building a high value brand and brand equity and leveraging that equity is huge. So what is I don't want you to give all the secrets away, but just give us a little nugget about how do you leverage that brand equity?
Oh man, there's so many ways. Let me give you one. Let me see. Well, number one is tapping into what I have termed your guru-isms. Your guru-isms is not necessarily you being like this popular guru and everybody knows you, because I don't believe in the likes and the follows and all that. I have clients, how it is. We have people we know that make a lot of money, but they don't have any likes and followers at all. Right. But they have guru-isms, and those guru-isms are like these special accolades that are just special to you. They're usually quantitative. Like example, one of my clients, she's a holistic practitioner, and she has a Yanni steam company. And so what she does is she provides herbs and holistic medicine and steams for women to help them reduce their fibroids. And so her guru-ism is saying, I've, served or, helped, assisted, guided over 125 women to reduce their fibroids, or I've helped 50 women be able to conceive now as a result. Like those are guru-isms, and those are things that we have to tap into. My client, she gets booked by Damon John to come and MC and partner, and these are guru-isms because these are things that are special to her brand that add value. And so these are the things we want to leverage in our marketing, in our bios, in our conversation. I always talk about how Stedman Graham, Oprah's boyfriend, is my mentor. You know what I'm saying? I'm not bragging. That's a value for him to want to see value in my brand based on who he is as a brand himself. That's a guruism. Someone, Denzel Washington, told them that they were a great actor. That's a guruism. You just have to strategically and intentionally use these guruisms in a way to leverage them to build your brand value. So that's one way of doing it.
Well, one of the conversations that we had, I don't know if it was actually on the air or when we were just talking, is about how, today everyone's all about the social media, right? The TikTok, the Facebook, the LinkedIn, the Instagram. I can't even keep up with all that, right?
I know.
I came kicking and screaming, right? I came kicking and screaming into social media and still kicking and screaming. But we talked a little bit about how you can create your brand and your brand equity without necessarily being, just so tied to social media. Can you speak on that a little bit?
Absolutely. I call that silent money.
Girl, I like that.
Yeah, silent money, because silent money is in the process of being trademarked. But it's silent money. It's that money that we make offline, because like I shared with you before, the old way of doing business actually still works. But I'm not anti social media. I'm not anti TikTok. I'm not anti any of that stuff, because it is helpful. It can't, there are some brands, not a lot and not every, and that's the problem. People think that just because one person has success or they're having success, and I talk about that in my book, of course, they think that they can do it too. It's not for everybody. So I believe in diversifying the way that we position our equity, the way we position our brand. And there's a lot of ways of, doing business offline that are still, actually, I find in the work that I do, my clients have more success with offline silent money marketing strategies than they do online, because some of us don't have time to sit and post 3, 4, 5, 6 times a day. We don't have time to sit here and be engaged and because social media is a social platform. So you have to be social. My husband, he's an introvert. He's shy. Don't let him hear me say that, but he is. That's not where he lives. He lives on relationships and referrals and those types of things. So I just think it's important that we can be tricked and fooled and lied to and led to believe that we have to build a brand on social media, where sometimes a lot of us only need social media or the internet to position ourselves, and that's it.
To have a presence, right? So if someone goes there, they can see that you have a presence. I know for me, referrals and word of mouth is really the key. And
relational networking.
I still like getting in front of people, right? I still like getting in front of people and being able to develop that rapport that you can do that through virtual, but it's still something about being present. That's just like, for us, I mean, it was time to go back to church, right? It was time for the church doors to open back, because that virtual church was getting old, and we needed
it's not the same energy.
Yeah, it's not the same energy. And so we needed to get back into the church and be around people. And like you mentioned, it's relationships. That's so important.
Yeah, absolutely. And we're forgetting how important it is. We're forgetting how important it is, because with COVID, we were locked inside for a long time. Our kids were having this difficult time learning online. It was just crazy. And you realize how important, like she said, relationship equity.
It'll take you great for introverts, though. It was great for introverts, though.
Yeah.
We shined during COVID.
You can be on Zoom, not turn your camera on. You can't go to a meeting in person and like cover your face, right? So absolutely. Yeah. And it did have a lot of great things, because even like the platform we're on tonight. I mean, you are in Atlanta, Michelle is in Michigan, I'm in North Carolina, and we have people from all over that get a chance to experience this. This type of thing became very common, with COVID, and I don't know that we would be where we are in terms of that technology had it not been there. So
Yeah, and I'm not anti any of it. I'm just pro diversification.
right, right.
Right? It doesn't take one or the other. It really takes both. But a lot of entrepreneurs, and I know this because they come to me all the time with wanting help. Okay, I need to sell online. How do you know that? Because everybody is telling me that I need to sell online. Everybody's online. I was like, that doesn't mean they're successful. You know how I know? Because they come to me for help and they're not doing as well
They
as they
look really good on
right.
social media. Look like they balling, but
Yes.
the reality. And it's interesting as I was having a conversation with a venture capitalist today, and we were just talking about that. He said some of the struggle is we have some business that look like they're doing really well. We got business owners that are doing really well, but they couldn't tell you what their revenue is versus their profit. They couldn't tell you what their marketing strategy is. You know, they can't tell you. They don't have a 5-year strategic plan, but you know they're selling, they're making money, and all these type of things, but they're not really getting. They're not in a position where someone who wants to come invest, or if they want to sell their business, can be able to do that because they don't have.
They're not prepared for growth at all. They're just doing everything for right now without realizing that there's a future, you know, in growing this business. I see it all the time, and those are the people that I love to support to get them right, get their organizations, their operations and everything in alignment, get right. Like, let's do business the way business is supposed to be done, you know?
Right.
I love
And you know, I did notice on your website that you have a team of people. You got graphic artists, you got different elements that all kind of go into that brand piece. So if I'm sitting here, an entrepreneur, and I got this brand and I don't know quite what to do with it, what would be your recommendation for someone in that position tonight?
Yeah. So of course everything is customized because some people have certain things, but we do everything from photo shoots, bringing in our own makeup artists, stylists. We style men and women. We redo websites. A lot of times people don't realize that a website serves 3 purposes. One, to collect leads. The other one is to position yourself as an expert. And the third one is to sell stuff. All that other stuff, you know, sometimes some people's websites are too me centric. Like, it's all about you. Like, I this and I that, and I don't care about that. What's in it for me, right? So we have to change some of the language on those websites. A lot of times we just rebuild them. We rebuild them. We also have on our team a sales strategist that teaches you how to do sales conversations so that you're converting more during your consultations. Because a lot of people, they may be good at marketing, but not at selling. So we have someone on our, so we either teach you or we do sales for you. We can become your sales team. We book our clients who are aspiring speakers or speakers for speaking events. It's a brand management company. So we literally do it all. We set up financial plans. Of course, that's the first thing we do because we can't set goals without a financial plan. Wait a minute, I'm talking to the money people. Y'all know what I'm talking about. I forgot who I'm talking to.
Like, go girl. Yes.
So we do all the visual. We do your graphic design work, like for your content for social media. We do everything from book publishing, whatever you need. We ask you a whole bunch of questions, get all of your business, find out how much money you're making, your costs, you know, per product, everything. And so we come in, we do video production because, you know, I'm a filmmaker. And so we do commercials that people can use to put on different ads or on their websites. We do speaker reels, any branding visually that our clients need. We're able to do that in-house under one umbrella. Instead of having a graphic artist over here, a web designer over here, a business coach over here, brand, all under
one stop shop.
That's nice.
And you know what's nice about that too is that then you can really, as a team, keep that consistent message, so that you don't have, you know, your website has one message, but your your print media has a different message, so that everything kind of works together cohesively.
Absolutely. Yeah, absolutely. And it should. And that's why a lot of companies and these companies that are doing really good, that's why they're so successful, because they have their own team. And that's what I feel when we want to grow, that's what we need. We can't, you guys know, we can't do it alone. We can, but we can only get so far,
Right.
doing it
Well,
alone. So yeah.
The African proverb is, if you want to run fast, run alone. If you want to run
Yeah.
far, run together. So
Absolutely.
that's pretty awesome. So I want to ask you this: where do you see yourself, your business, your brand 5 years from now? What does that look
My personal brand, I would like to just be speaking only internationally full time.
Ooh.
I want to be doing more things on the continent of Africa. I've already started that, building my brand on the continent of Africa, starting with South Africa thus far. I want to do more on an international level, because I see that our people in Africa they're natural entrepreneurs, but they just don't have the systems in place. They don't have the strategy, and they could do so well to reclaim their time, to reclaim their time. So I just see myself speaking 100%, and still having my Profit Attraction Academy, but just having it being fully run by my team, because they'll be well ready by then. But I'm the face of the brand. You know what I'm saying? But that's where I see us going, and servicing more corporate clients. Working with like the really top Fortune 500 companies, and coming in and helping with their brand strategy as well.
Someone put in the chat, do you help someone that have just one idea and they're just starting out? It's just
No, I don't. I have to be honest. And the reason why, if I have to be honest, I don't have a lot of success with those types of individuals, because you haven't got your feet wet yet. You haven't made mistakes. You haven't failed. You haven't put in enough work yet, and still be here. You get what I'm saying? And still you ain't bumped your head enough and still be here.
Well, and that's so true. It's like the hard knocks, or whatever you want to say. But when you've gone through business and you've had ideas failed, you've had things that didn't work, and you're still standing, right? So you've proven that you got some mojo. You prove that you can get knocked down, and as Les Brown says, you get knocked down, you pray that you fall, face up. Because if you can look up, you can get up, right? Resilience, right? Tenacity. You got to have that to really make it, because it's not easy. I mean, being an entrepreneur, people have this glamorous idea of it, but it can be work. And
it is work.
It is work.
It is work.
And you're going to pay your dues, right?
Yes.
You're going to pay your dues.
Yes.
And sometimes, like we say, people see the glory, but they don't know the story. They don't know about the sleepless nights, how you're up doing all these things to get to where you are. They just see this end result and said, I want that. And because we live in this society where we want things now, right? It's like, I don't want to wait for it. I mean, microwave is too slow, right? So we don't want to wait for things. And so I think that can be somewhat dangerous for people to kind of see that and not realize that there's a whole lot of work that has to be done. So
I do have some courses on my websites for people who have ideas at resquires.com that are very helpful. It's me teaching video courses, like all of that stuff. And my books are great resources, because I'm really teaching in my book, sharing a lot of game. But to come on in brand management, no. But I do have a mastermind that could be good for you. I would just say reach out to me and just let me talk to you. But as a brand manager, not anyone with an idea, but I do have some other resources for you that could be very helpful.
Yeah.
Well, and the reality is this. I mean, you got to be able to afford you, right? You gotta be able to afford to pay the price. You get what you pay for. You get what you pay for. So that's all part of it as well. So as we wind down here, I mean, we are winding down to the last few minutes. And anything, Michelle, you want to share or ask, and then we'll have our special guest give her last thoughts as we close out.
Yeah, I just think there's a lot of value in what Ari is doing, what Tony's doing, what I'm doing for entrepreneurs. And when you tap into good resources, you elevate and you shorten your learning curve.
Absolutely.
And you can grow faster. But you got to get to a place first before that can start to happen. So Ari, I know you don't feel bad about saying no, I can't because
no, I have to be honest.
Right.
With those people, and we know you just don't know what you don't know yet. You haven't been in the game long enough for what we do to really be effective. So yeah.
Well, and I think too is that, and you mentioned it, is just books. I mean, I think that you can learn a lot from a book. I mean, before I engage with you, I read your book, right? And I can learn a lot from the book.
Mm-hmm.
And then the engagement comes. So I think that's pretty cool too.
I agree.
Yeah, they say if you want to hide something from someone, put it in a book.
That's right. And you did 11 of them, so you ain't hiding.
Yeah. This is my best one. Well, my Release the Chains book, that one is on Amazon. Release the Chains, I think that is my best book because it was my first one. It wasn't the best written, but it was because I shared my story, like that was my first time coming out of the closet with my story of being behind bars and that all of that. But then this right here, I had to make this a hardback book. It's so good. This right here is definitely my baby right here.
Awesome. Well, y'all get the book. Get the book.
Yeah, a lot of good gems in there.
A lot of good gems in there. So y'all get the book. Make sure you get the book. And you will, I definitely believe you will benefit. You'll be blessed because of it. And so y'all get my book too. My book is still out there. People still getting it. And so I certainly appreciate everyone's support. I do want to remind everyone, make sure you dial in next week. Next week on our show, this is going to be on the radio show too. You know how I do that. I have the little part there. But next week's show, we're going to have Amelia Bundos on our show, and she is the great granddaughter of Madam C.J. Walker, and she's going to be on to share what that legacy has been like. And so,
I'll be tuning into that.
Love that.
Yeah, I think it's going to be awesome. As I had my interview with her for the radio already, it's going. You guys are going to find out the real deal behind the Netflix.
Okay.
Okay. We'll just put that out there like that. All right. Listen. It has been a pleasure. Thank you so much for being on the show. Everybody have a wonderful evening. Let us know what you think of the show. Go get her book. Go to the website. Support her. Support Michelle. Congratulations, Michelle. And we will be posting in our private Facebook group where the meet and greet for Michelle will take place. We'll be posting that in there, and that'll be awesome. So have a good night, everybody. Thank you for tuning in, and we'll see you next week.
Good night.
Good night.